name is Brother Maron. I am a monk of the Most Holy Trinity Monastery of the Maronite Monks of Adoration in Petersham, Massachusetts. We're a contemplative and cloistered order, and the heart of our life is Eucharistic adoration. Both my parents were converts to the Episcopal Church, and we only went to church for about 3 years when I was a child. My uncle, my mother's brother, was an Episcopalian pastor, and he was the one that converted my parents. But we weren't really church-going much at all, except for those 3 years. Well, there were recurring moments, I think, during the course of my life that where I'd be reminded, or I would think on God, but the trajectory of my life as a young person was further and further away from God, sort of going along with the culture, I think, and what I was learning in schools. But I kept on thinking of God, and so there was a bit of a tension for decades, I think. And in college, I got involved with some evangelical groups in the different places that I was. And so there was a very shallow Christian faith. And even though in other ways I was quite a pagan and becoming more and more pagan as time went on, but there was still that Christian influence and that Christian sort of, in a sense, that tugging, I think, at the heart. I had graduated from grad school. I was with a group of friends. We had a poker group, and the best poker player was an Episcopalian priest who was a grad student. And he had an internship at a certain parish, and I went to the parish, and there was a fantastic priest there, and who became a very close friend, and he would leave the church open at night. And so I used to go there and pray, and the most powerful experience was going there one night and being there before the altar, but having this incredible sense of God's presence, of Christ's presence, but coming from this box on a wall. And I didn't know what that box was. And I was thinking, Lord, shouldn't I sense you here at the altar and not at that box, whatever that is? So I told the priest about it the next day, and he laughed, and he said, that's where the consecrated host is kept. And he was an Episcopalian pastor. I think he may have been ordained with some Eastern Orthodox bishop assistants. But whatever the case, that was a transformative moment where everything just really changed. God existed, and life was going to be completely different after that. It was like living in a two-dimensional world, and all of a sudden it's 3 dimensions, or 4. Was at that time started discerning a vocation to the Episcopalian priesthood, and got involved in, have you heard of the Alpha Course? It's a very excellent tool of evangelization, phenomenally well put together by Father Gumbel in the UK. I don't know if he's still involved with it, but we had 2 classes there, 2 courses that I helped lead. Sensing the Lord in the Eucharist, I was doing a lot of reading, and I'd done some classes with the help of this fantastic Episcopalian pastor at one of the more traditional remaining Episcopalian seminaries. And I'd done a series of courses. They were very short courses in January on C.S. Lewis. And there were a number of very fine professors from different Protestant schools. And then there was Professor Thomas Howard from St. John's Seminary in the Newton area, around Boston College. And he did just the most amazing class. And I was so taken with him that I bought his book right away on being Catholic. And that was a very powerful push also in the direction of the church. I could not believe how I was just so joyful to finally have come to our Lord's church. That sense of him in the Most Holy Eucharist, he can manifest himself when it's necessary for the soul, for the person that he's dealing with. And in my particular case, I think I very much needed that to be guided in the right direction. A lot of other people don't need that, but I certainly did. And so just the joy of being received that day into the church. And it was a special grace because I was working in New York City at the time, very close to the Elizabeth Seton Shrine. And Elizabeth Seton was a former Episcopalian too. So I was received into her shrine, into the church at her shrine, I should say, which was a wonderful thing.